stop watching TikTok videos and get the disputing. Okay? Oftentimes, a lot of y'all get so hung up on that number that you actually forget that what's on your credit profile, that's what matters to the creditors. That's what they're looking at. Sometimes there are certain creditors, not gonna lie, that says you need to have a certain amount of a certain score to work with us, a certain score to get approved for XYZ. But I can guarantee you 9 times out of 10, they're looking at your credit profile before they look at that number, okay? So if you got a lot of shit on your credit report that you're trying to get removed, you need to watch this video, all right? Let's go. All right, number 1, you wanna start with your personal information. Okay, start with updating your personal information. That means removing misspelled names, inaccurate names, date of birth, social security numbers, etc., old employers, all this shit. Now, this is vital because a lot of accounts won't be deleted simply because of the information that's in your personal information section. Okay, it can be an address, it could be a name, it could be a number. Anything that's in your personal information section could possibly be the reason why your derogatory items are not getting removed no matter how many times you try to dispute them. I know it can be hard if you currently still live at that address, but for those of you that have moved, there's no reason why your old address should still be on your credit report. It will be a little tough to try to get these old addresses removed because, obviously this address was placed on the contract. So you're going to need a pretty legitimate reason to dispute the address. For example, it could be a relative's address, or something like that. Or it could, that was temporary, or, you no longer reside there. So you can't receive mail there anymore. Therefore, this address needs to be removed from our credit report. Whatever you gotta say that shit to get the address removed, because this is the most vital of all the tips that I'm gonna give in this video, all the steps I'm gonna provide. We can send all the dispute letters, all of them, but as soon as they see that something in your personal information links to an account, they're gonna say, no, this account is verified. You're gonna say how? Experian will often tell you the address is linked to this particular account. If you try to dispute the address online, it'll say, no, you can't. This address is linked to this account. So you can see right there which company is reporting the address, and that's why it's not being deleted. So clean up your personal information section first. Number 2, you need to review your report for accounts that do not belong to you. This means you never apply for these particular accounts. The company won't be able to provide proof when you go disputing that you signed for this particular account. Fill out an identity theft report for every account that does not belong to you. We are not wasting no time in 2022 with these creditors trying to go back and forth disputing accounts that do not belong to us. If the ain't yours, you don't need to be sending anything else, no debt validation, no method of verification, none of that. You need to be filling out an identity theft report, and then you need to send the identity theft letter. If you have my DIY kit, it's linked in the description box, to the creditor and the credit bureaus who are reporting this account. There's no more going back and forth with them, okay? No more going back and forth with them about an account that does not belong to you. That's number 2. Number 3, close accounts with 1 to 2 late payments. Send the late pay removal letter to the credit bureaus or send a goodwill letter directly to the creditors. That's how you dispute close accounts with 1 to 2 late payments. I would say you can have an account that maybe had up to 5 late payments, but just know you have to dispute 1 to 2 late payments at a time. You cannot list all 5 if you want to see results. If you're actively trying to get this account to no longer have late payments, especially if they're legit 1 to 2 late payments at a time, all right? Number 4, collections. Your first step with all collections, doesn't matter what the situation is. I think sometimes y'all get too hung up on why the account went to collections that you forget that it's still a collection. And it doesn't really matter the backstory or what led to the event. It's a collection. Kids in the background. First step is always debt validation letter. Send that shit certified, all right? Now, second step kind of depends on their response. If they send you a statement letter or they don't respond at all, you send them the failure to validate letter. Boys, I have 2 boys. Christian! I'll be right back. Ooh, Lord have mercy. It's summertime. Mom, you don't want the kids? Huh, Mom? Mom, do you want the kids? Lord have mercy. Okay. If they send a statement or they don't respond at all, you need to send the failure to validate letter. If they send a signed contract, a court-ordered document, which would come from a court, a judge, I'm going to assume that maybe they took you to court, you were sued, something along those lines. The original creditor reached out to you to let you know that this company is now the owner of the debt. They're no longer responsible for the debt. They no longer want anything to do with this debt. Like this came with the signed contract. Then you need to send them a pay for deletion letter, all right? And then you're going to continue this process until the account is removed. That's how you handle collections, bottom line. Okay, so either they're going to validate the debt or they're not going to validate. The failures to validate, 9 times out of 10, will stop them from communicating with you further. The account will be deleted. And then you will need to go back to the original creditor to make some type of settlement with them so the debt will not continue to be resold again, okay? Pay for deletion is your best bet here, all right? Now, let's talk about these stinking ass charge-offs. So if the charge-off is still with the original creditor, then you need to settle. You need to settle the debt. Okay, so the thing with charge-offs is, I think we be forgetting, or maybe we're misinformed, or maybe we just don't know that just because an account charges off does not mean you're no longer responsible for the debt. You are still responsible for the debt. The company has just written off the debt because they've come to the conclusion that you're not going to pay. So sometimes a company will write off the debt and then they'll just hold the account. They won't sell it. Sometimes companies will sell the debt. They will write it off and then sell it to a collection agency, and then that collection agency will begin to pursue you. Either they'll turn it over to an in-house collections or they'll sell the account completely to a collection agency. But again, this doesn't mean that you're no longer responsible for the debt. Now, especially if they're still holding the debt, okay? Oftentimes, if the debt is still within the statute of limitations, if it's big enough, if it's worth them coming after you to sue you, if it's worth all of that, especially like these big ass charge-offs, like 10K plus, sometimes 5K plus is enough for them in their eyes to sue you, they will still sue you, and they're still able to, even though they've written off the debt, because the debt is still within the statute of limitations. Before you go poking with a charge-off, okay, even though you're trying to remove all these derogatory accounts from your credit report, I don't want nobody getting sued, okay? So the first thing you need to do is figure out statute of limitations for debt in your state before you even touch this account. If you're going to settle with them, then a pay for deletion letter would be the route to go to negotiating the settlement. In that letter, you specify your terms, how much you want to pay, how long they have to respond to this letter. You do not accept responsibility whatsoever. It even says in the letter, this is not me acknowledging the debt is mine. I'm just saying, if you wanted to work out an agreement with me, this is what I pay, but you got to delete the shit from my credit report. That's where we at. Now, let's say the charge off was sold. So now you got a charge off and a collection. You need to dispute that collection first. What did I say the first step for collections was? Debt validation letter at all times. Debt validation letter, send it certified. They have 30 days to respond to you. If they do not respond within 30 days, notify the credit bureaus and tell them to remove that shit because the company did not respond in 30 days that they had. You got proof that you sent the letter on X date. You got proof that they received the letter on X date. This is past the 30-day limit. Remove this. That's what you got to do. That's first with removing collections. Now, if they do respond to your debt validation letter with anything along the lines of court order document, signed contract, original creditor said so, you need to send a pay for deletion letter to them. If they do not respond to you at all, or they send a statement or some type of screenshot of just an amount you owe with no further information, nothing else that proves the debt is yours, send them the failure to validate letter that is included in the collection steps of my DIY kit, linked in the description box as always. Once deleted, you need to go back and deal with the original creditor. Now, and you need to include the deletion results, proof of payment to the collection agency. Not that they really care, but this may help you get the account removed. If you can show the company that you did go back and satisfy this debt with the collection agency, they may be willing to remove the account altogether through goodwill or just negotiation. Let's move on to bankruptcies and public records, period. First step is going to be the method of verification. now, you know, I know, all public records are being verified through LexisNexis. We are going to send LexisNexis a method of verification letter. We are not going to dispute with the credit bureaus just yet, because every time we send a letter to the credit bureaus, especially a method of verification, they kind of interpret that as us disputing the account. And we are not trying to dispute the account. We're trying to seek out verification. How did you verify this information? With whom did you speak? With what company did you go through? Okay, so after you've sent LexisNexis the method of verification letter, they're going to tell you that they verify whatever information through the court that you filed your bankruptcy or whatever the situation may be through. You're going to send the court letter. All of this information is included in my DIY kit, and you're going to ask if they provide information to third parties. The court is going to tell you no. So once you get your court letter in, you need to make several copies of this letter, because this may take a few rounds. All right, now the third step will be to request deletion from the source, which is LexisNexis. So you want to send the results that LexisNexis sent you, saying they verified through the court. Then you want to send a copy of the court letter that says they do not verify information with third parties. And then you want to type up a letter to LexisNexis, which is included in my DIY kit. And you want to say, hey, you need to remove this information from my credit report because you said you verified through the court. The court said they don't communicate or verify any information with you. You lied, so delete this. Once you get the information deleted from LexisNexis, that's when you go disputing with the credit bureaus, okay? If your public record information is reporting to the credit bureaus. So, for example, your bankruptcy. Once you have the LexisNexis results that shows the bankruptcy has been removed, that's when you want to go to the credit bureaus and say, hey, who did you verify this information with? Once they tell you LexisNexis, send them results, request deletion, bada bing, bada boom. It may take more than one round because they don't make it easy. Even when you provide the results, they don't make it easy. Sometimes you have to file a CFPB complaint. Sometimes it works the first try. Sometimes it doesn't. Keep trying, keep track, keep proof of everything, but you're doing the right things. They just do not make it easy. Inquiries. Send the inquiry removal letter, call the credit bureaus, and dispute inquiries over the phone. Doing it over the phone, if you get a rep that is willing to work with you, that is just like super lax, so you need to have your list ready, because sometimes they just be going down, checking them off and deleting them, and they'll be gone within 24 hours. So, and this is by doing it over the phone. You have to do it over the phone if you want inquiries removed within 24 hours. You have to make sure you're only disputing inquiries that are not attached to an open account, okay? So this is how you get every derogatory item off your credit report. You need to get to work ASAP. You don't have nothing to wait on, okay? You got all the time in the world right now. Stop watching TikTok videos and get them disputed, okay? I wish you all the best of luck. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. All right, peace.